Hey everybody, it's Alicia from Reaux, and today we're going to talk about 7 things you need to know when starting your online business. There have been a lot of people starting online businesses. How do you start an online business? What are some factors that make or break success? If you don't know the answer, trust me, your girl got you. I've divided my tips into 3 sections, and you can find it along the timeline below. I even threw in a bonus for you, so make sure to stick around for that. Let's get started. So the first tip in this section is, do I even need to say it? Do your research. Do your research. That's all that you need to do. How are you even certain of who you're trying to sell to if you don't do your research? Good ideas are so subjective. Sure, you could think that you have an amazing idea, but until you place it along some practical and objective, hard-cold facts, then good ideas won't do anything. We've all had those amazing ideas at 3 a.m, and they sound like the most incredible thing ever, like the cure to cancer, or how we're gonna solve hunger in the world, or anything like that. And then you wake up the next morning and one of 2 things have happened. Either you, 1, forget, or 2, just look at yourself and you're like, what the was I thinking? And I know you know exactly what I'm talking about, and I completely get it, but girl, some of those ideas can turn into truly traction-grabbing businesses. Bottom line, weird ideas are great. Weird ideas are what makes life go round. But I will say, if you have a weird idea and you don't do research to accomplish it, did it even happen? So, bottom line, you need to, say it with me, research. Unsexiest part of running a business, and it is the most necessary part. Sometimes you just have to put that bonnet on. But hold up. I have a very important question for you. Do you know who your key demographic is? Okay. You don't gotta answer to that, do you? Okay, look. I'm not gonna fault you on that, but you need to know who you're selling to. This is the most important part of running a business, of selling any sort of product or service. You need to know exactly who you're selling to so that you know exactly how to talk to them. Realistically, what matters most is that you need to know that you cannot talk to everyone. You cannot say that your demographic is everyone. If you know specifically who you're talking to, it can help you maximize engagement so much more. You'll know how to market your product or service. You'll know how to write your copy. You'll know what type of pictures that they'll like. You'll learn so much out of just knowing and trying to understand one demographic, one primary demographic, because you cannot please everyone, but you can pick one person and try to please them. Goes back to the first one, do your research. On to finances. This is something that a lot of people have an issue with, understandably, because you don't want to come in, on 10 and you're really not even that good like that. First off, and most importantly, do not sell yourself short. A lot of people fall into this trap of thinking that they have to undercharge for their products or services because they're brand new, and that's not the case. If you come out the gate as a premium product, people will pay your premium. And if you know what you're doing, you know what you're doing. And I know that you know what you're doing. Otherwise, why would you start a business? Why would you start this? Why would you do this off of something that you really don't even know like that? And this isn't like how you would climb up the corporate ladder. I think that's why people charge for less than they actually are worth, because they think it's sort of like you need to climb up this ladder. You need to charge for your cost of materials. You need to charge for any transportation that it takes to get there. And you need to charge for your labor for doing it, because labor counts. You are not doing this for your health. Charge what the hell it costs. But again, everything is for profit. If you feel like that is what you're worth, somebody will pay for it. And that's all I have to say. I got to say it again. Do your research. Google it. It's on Google. If you do want a video on it, let me know down in the comments below, and I'll be glad to explain to you the different ways that you can price yourself and how you can get payment for your services. Another thing that I will say on this topic is to remember that a sale is not necessarily a profit. A sale is just when you get somebody to buy a product. The profit is the money that you have after you've paid for the production of that product. If it costs you more to produce the product or to do the service, then you're not making profit. And that means that your business is in the red. Believe it or not, most businesses stay in the red for at least the first 16 months. Do not necessarily feel discouraged, because something can always change, something can always find a way, something can push through. You just got to keep going. Which brings me to my next point. As a young business, hear me out. Some things are going to need to be free. Huh?
What?
But do not get me wrong. Do not fall into the trap of giving away everything for free. Whether it's an ebook, whether it's a recipe, whether it's a plan, whatever it is that you monetize, all you got to do is just slide them a little some. But not the whole thing. Not the whole thing. There will be nothing else for them to come to you for if you give them everything. The goal is to be smart about where we're placing our branding. That way it'll end up helping us in the long run. Okay, so the last section is customer service. And there's not a lot that you haven't heard, but there's probably a lot that you haven't utilized yet with customer service. Some people, they're willing to buy a decent product with amazing customer service behind it than to buy an amazing product with shitty customer service behind it. It's all about the human interaction. And if you develop those clear channels early on with your small business, word of mouth is more than likely to aid you in helping you to grow your business, because people are just so happy that you're friendly and that you're not a robot, believe it or not. Just remember the KISS principle. Keep it simple, stupid. If you're getting common basic questions about your store or about a product or about anything like that, have a frequently asked questions already available for them to look through. If they have a question that seems to be, going around a lot, then refer them to the frequently asked questions. Don't be nasty to people who are coming to you for a service. Because ultimately, if you're coming to people for something that they'll have to pay you for in order to keep your lights on, then they could very well be the reason why you cannot pay your bills and why no one is going to pay you. And my bonus tip for you today is to make sure not to over rely on social media. That is not a good way to run your business. Essentially, what you are doing is putting all of your eggs in one basket. So if you're utilizing one social media site, especially if you haven't done the research, and you don't even know if that's a social media site that your target demographic uses on a regular basis, then you're really just shooting yourself in the foot. Social media is a great tool for getting your ideas out there. People go to have a good time, to share memes, to talk to family members, to do everything. But just make sure that the way that you're using social media is productive and that it properly utilizes the channels that you've built for your business. That way you're not wasting your time and that you're not making it excessively hard for your customer to find you. Okay, so let's recap. When you're beginning your research, actually do your research and make sure that you know your target demographic. When you're considering finances, never sell yourself short and know that you may need to give freebies in order to increase your ROI. Finally, customer service. The customer is always right, and make sure to practice clear communication lines with your customer. Don't forget my bonus tip. Don't over-rely on any one social media site. Using these key tips, it should be a little bit easier for you to start off on the right foot of your business or your product. And if you need any help along the way, just know that I'm here to help you. And if you have a question, reach out to me on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook at Reaux Media Group. So I have one final question for you. Are you ready to make a statement? I'm Alicia from Reaux. Thanks for stopping by.